All right, we're going to try this again. Computers, they're awesome until they're not. I guess, sorry about that. I guess I'm just going to have to really take it easy, and we're just going to have to sludge our way through some of this. So we will see what we can do here for this evening's little broadcast here, this update. So again, a lot of heavy snow, moderate to heavy snow, especially that area that's in yellow. Just looks like north of Grand Forks right now, in through Manville and Warren. Possibly another area coming up from the south. Let's see if that's rain or snow. That's kind of on the border of rain, snow. Probably what's happening once again is it's probably raining or precipitating hard enough that it's actually changing some of this back over to snow one more time. So for those of you through Hope, Buxton, you're going to be getting hit pretty good again. Climax, Crookston, it looks like it's going to be heading towards that Thompson, Hatton, Findlay, Cooperstown area as well, as it kind of rotates to the north, maybe back to the northwest a little bit with this system. So still deteriorating road conditions out there for sure. It's not been a good day for the roads, to say the least. Actually take a look at some of the snow plow cameras here. This is out on US 2, and yeah, it doesn't look great, which is pretty typical for US 2, US Highway 2. This is at Crookston to Junction 220. We'll just kind of go through some of these snowplow cameras, and boy, that looks looks pretty gross out there on Highway 2. This is getting closer to Erskine. Again, Highway 2. Not, this is Highway 9, I believe. This is US 2. Let's see here. Somewhere in that, yeah, I guess that is Highway 2 still, the way this looks, but not real great road conditions out there at all. Sorry about that. And we're just going to kind of continue to poke around here and see what else we can find. I guess the other thing to note is just what we're expecting throughout the rest of the evening. This is, again, kind of one of the latest model runs we have with the NAM. It's an American model, kind of a shorter run model. And this did a fairly good job as far as depicting some of the snow today, at least earlier it did. And as we go into the evening hours, you can see this area of snow moving further to the north and affecting areas like that Roseau area, parts up in through Pembina and Walhalla. It looks like you're probably eventually going to get into some of this heavier stuff as we get into the nighttime hours. And then once we get into that midnight time frame, it's a little weird how it just kind of disappears there, I guess, but I would expect that probably see some light to moderate snow continuing. And then more snow begins to wrap around on the backside of this through central parts of North Dakota, northwestern parts as well. Winds are going to keep up overnight as we get into that 4 a.m. time frame and through 7. More moderate snow, light to moderate snow across the north, with some lighter stuff as you head down to the south and west. Here comes that low pressure system. It kind of makes its way, backdoors itself into eastern parts of North Dakota. And with that, it dries things out across the east central and southeastern parts of North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota, while the snow continues far in the west and parts of the central. And then we're also dealing with the stronger winds as well. Now, once we get into the evening hours, Wednesday evening, that continues. So we're going to get a little bit of a break tomorrow for those of you in the Northeast and Southeast. It's going to be snowing. It's going to be snowing. It's going to be snowing throughout the night, and then all of a sudden, the spigot's going to turn off for a little bit as the drier air works in later in the afternoon, and then it's not going to be looking so bad until we get later into the night. The winds are going to pick up. Looks pretty late, possibly, well, for sure after midnight Wednesday night. This is looking like it's probably closer to 4 a.m. before the snow and the wind really starts to kick in. And then it continues throughout the day on Thursday. And then finally by late Friday night, late Thursday night, early Friday morning is when most of that snow finally pulls on out of the remainder of the region. Let's see what this is showing as far as the latest for snowfall. And boy, it really, this is until noon. Let's back that up one frame. This is up until noon on Wednesday. So this is actually a 24-hour period. This is taking from noon today, Tuesday, until noon tomorrow on Wednesday. And still quite a bit of snow being forecasted across central and north central parts of North Dakota, northeastern parts as well. So within the next 24 hours, we're still looking for, or a little less than 24 hours now, we're still looking to pick up there's a possibility of over 10 inches of snow in some of these areas, and continuing into Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. And then finally, some of these areas in the east start to pick up a little bit more snow, while the west is pretty much done throughout the day on Thursday. You can see this really doesn't increase as we step along, but areas further east do. And then as we get into Thursday night and Friday morning, a little bit of light accumulation. So all told, from today at noon until Friday night at midnight, roughly this will be where the heaviest amounts will be, is through the central parts of North Dakota and Northeast as well, probably northwestern parts of Minnesota. And then once you get down to Fargo, Wahpeton, that Gwinner area, not much snow, looking like a mostly rain type of scenario. And, all you guys further down to the south of that are just going to remain as rain. So all this it's pretty much gone pretty close to what we've expected, I guess. The only uncertainty, the only thing was this area right through that Grand Forks and Thief River and Crookston. It snowed so heavy that it couldn't turn to rain. It stayed as snow. So I think some of these areas have picked up a little more rain, a little more snow than we were anticipating. That's for sure. We're going to click on over to the Bismarck radar here, and we'll have to give that a little bit of time and let it think about it a little bit. We picked up probably, like I said before, we picked up probably about 7 inches of snow is what I've been estimating. I went out and measured before I came on, and it was showing about 6.5 on the driveway, and I know for sure we probably melted about a good ½ inch before it really started to accumulate. So here in Grand Forks, we picked it up fast. It started around 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I believe by 2:30 is when I had to run to the accountant and the CPA accountant, the tax accountant, and boy, it was by that point it was really coming down at that point. Here you can see the Bismarck radar. So it looks like a pretty good band in between Strasburg and Fort Yates at this time. And then further north through Steele and Tuttle and Pettibone, McCluskey. I'm going to try and put this in motion, see if it works. Those of you down in Ashley, hey Ashley. Hey, for those of you down in Ashley, looks like you're finally picking up some pretty good snows right now, I would imagine. Wishick as well. And you can see how this is rotating through with this low now down in the South Dakota, Minnesota border, far down in the south, where the severe storms are developing. This is now rotating around this low pressure system. So you can see this area basically moving to the east as the cells itself, as the area kind of moves to the northeast, and then some of this area further north kind of backs in around the backside of this low. So, we've almost got two different directions going on. So for those of you in Edgeley and Gackle and Jamestown and Litchfield and Valley City, you're very likely going to be seeing an increase in snow here over the next hour or two. Meanwhile, as we go further north, for those in like Harvey and Cheyenne and Butte and Drake, it looks like some of that's kind of wrapping back around towards you as well in Bismarck. You've just been in it pretty much all day today. You've been getting nailed. You've been right on that pinwheel, right on that edge as this rotates through all day in Bismarck. I'd be curious what they're going to wind up getting by the end of the day. That's going to be very interesting. Hopefully, eventually I'll show you. Hope to show you a picture here from my brother out in Bismarck. If you have anything, if you have any video, if you have any pictures you want to share, please do. Go to my Facebook page, if you know my personal page. If you want to go to my Region Weather Live Facebook page, there it's right there, it's showing up. And then also my Twitter page. Go ahead and share something on there, and I will definitely share it for everybody on the live stream. Excellent connection. Okay. All right, and then here is where all the current watches are at this point. And we've got the tornado watch down here across southeastern parts of Minnesota, northwestern Iowa. That's tornado watch. And then we've got another one that's in south central parts of Minnesota down through central portions of Iowa. And then the red box here, the big red box, is a severe thunderstorm watch that goes all the way from Sioux Falls up and includes the Minneapolis area and up through Cambridge and Clear Lake as well. So you can basically see how these storms, which way they're kind of moving. They're moving to the northeast. As we kind of pick on one of these storms here and see just exactly how fast they're moving. This particular one, it's showing Mapleton, Pemberton, St. Clair. You're going to be in the path of this particular severe thunderstorm warning as it moves to the northeast at 60 miles. Nope, that's the winds. Let's click on here. Yeah, 60 north at 59 miles per hour. With 60 mile per hour wind gusts and hail size of up to an inch. I'll back up a little bit here, and we've got some more severe storms further out in the west by Pipestone, just south of Pipestone, near Hatfield, Traskey. Some pretty good hail looks like it's showing up there, an inch and a quarter with 60 miles per hour. Again, that's also moving to the north-northeast, probably about 60 miles per hour. So those of you in Lake Wilson, you're very likely going to be in the path of this particular storm. One thing to note, I'll see if I can't pull up a better radar. But, this does look like it could be developing a hook. It's really hard to tell on this type of radar that I'm showing here, but maybe I can get a little better look in a bit. This is saying considerable. So this is a good one here. Let's take a look at what the wording is on this. The National Weather Severe Thunderstorm Warning for southwestern Minnehaha County, southern McCook, northwestern Turner, northeastern Hutchinson. Severe thunderstorm located near Dalton or 8 miles southwest of Lake Vermilion State Recreation Area, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Golf ball size hail and 60 mile per hour winds associated with this. So pretty good storm there. And I think this is what was, I believe that was probably the storm that was tornado warned earlier. So I would imagine we're keeping a good eye on that. The National Weather Service employees as far as seeing if anything develops further out of that as that's starting to get close to Sioux Falls. So Sioux Falls area, Hartford, Humboldt, Crooks, those of you along I-90 and I-94, we're going to be seeing some pretty good storms roll through here within the next 30 minutes or so, as this as this particular storm heads to the northeast pretty rapidly. Here's the Sioux Falls radar. Thankfully, it doesn't look, just a first glance there. Well, there could be potential for some rotation in there. Pull up, and so that's definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Right in, back that off a bit. Right in through here is we're kind of got a little bit of rotation through there. So right as this area is kind of jetting out, sometimes we get some circulation in there. Once we get to some of these areas that start to get out ahead of this main area, that we have the rear flank downdraft that pushes the storm forward a little bit quicker in an area. And what can happen there is, as this kind of rotates around and you've got the forward flank coming in, these areas, could spin up there. So that might be something eventually to watch through South Dakota. That would be, right now, that's just east of Monroe, heading to the northeast at, I believe it was 45 miles per hour. Yep. So those of you just west of Sioux Falls, as we're approaching I-90, that looks like some pretty good storms rolling through there at this point. Right now, it's just saying wind and hail associated with this storm down in the southeastern part of South Dakota, but did have a history of producing a tornado earlier, and it looks like it could be wrapping up here once again. So, yeah, that's looking interesting here. That is definitely looking interesting for those of you. Let's see here. That is McCook, I believe, County, coming into Minnehaha County. I would be watching out for this. This little area there is sure has got my attention. Nothing issued yet. Nothing issued with the National Weather Service just yet, but just be mindful. Just keep a watch on that for anybody who might have somebody down in South Dakota, know somebody down near in that Sioux Falls area. Got a pretty good friend whose family lives down in that region, so gonna have to watch this storm as it moves to the east-northeast the way it looks. All right, we'll come off of that for just a bit. Another thunderstorm warning out in Minnesota here. southern parts of Minnesota. This is extending from near Truman to near Good Thunder, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour, 60 mile per hour wind, and quarter-size hail. This is for Blue Earth in Watonwan, Minnesota. Boy, I didn't even... Blue Earth in Watonwan. That's northeast at 50 miles per hour, 60 mile per hour gusts. And that is valid until 7:45 p.m. And so that's this one here. So that's associated with probably at least a couple of those cells, if not, possibly both of them at this point. The way these are developing, wouldn't be surprised if both of them have a little bit of hail in there. And then also this one right here, as this storm moves to the northeast, Blue Earth possibly being impacted by this particular storm by 7:35 Delavan at 7:45, Easton at 7:51, Minnesota Lake 7:57, Waldorf 8:09, and New Richland 8:17. So you're in the path of this particular storm that's got 60 mile per hour winds and 1 inch hail associated with that. So a bunch of storms getting blowing up down there in southern parts of Minnesota at this time. And then you also have this one that kind of skipped over here, I guess. Looks like this is more of a hailer, 1 inch and 3/4, not so much on the winds. But boy, that's some pretty good hail out there the way it looks. Garvin, Milroy, Lucan, Vesta, Wabasso, Echo, Bellevue, Redwood Falls, North Redwood, all in the path possibly of this particular storm down in southwestern parts of Minnesota. So again, if you've got anybody living down there, if you're listening from down there, just be mindful of the weather. It looks like we're going to be in for some hail and some wind. Right now, the only tornado warning is down in Iowa, but we're going to have to keep an eye on this one west of Sioux Falls. And that just keeps looking more and more interesting. Just keeps looking more and more interesting. Still pretty broad rotation though with that, so I guess that's good. There's no tight gradient anywhere that I can see, so that's a good thing. Let's see here. This new tornado, or excuse me, thunderstorm warning for northeastern Hutchinson County is canceled. All right, so we're canceling that, I guess. This new one that just was issued, a severe thunderstorm warning, remains in effect until 7:30 for southwestern Minnehaha, southeastern McCook, and northern Turner counties in South Dakota. 60 mile per hour wind gusts, $half size hail associated with this. Moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. All right, those of you across I-90 and I-29 near Sioux Falls, watch out. Watch out. Plenty of severe weather heading your direction at this point. All right. Let's jump back and take a little bit look. Let's go back further north. All right. Well, here you can see where some of the heavier amounts, the moderate amounts are for snowfall right now. At this hour, 7:25, this area kind of moving to the east, this moving north, this kind of back into the northwest as we move this along. Let's see if we can put this in motion without crashing my computer. That would be spectacular. East Grand Forks report of heavy snow of 10.5 inches. Official National Weather Service OB as of 7 p.m. 6.7 inches. Grand Forks County National Weather Service employee reports heavy snow of 8.5 inches. So we're looking in that 7 to 10 range, depending on where exactly we are, wherever we're measuring. Let's see Bismarck. Grassy Butte in McKenzie County in North Dakota. Co-op observer reports heavy snow of 7 inches. Moderate to heavy snow at time of the observation. Felt like heaviest snowfall rates of the day at the time of observation. This was as of 7:20. So a couple of new reports out there coming in. A lot of snow out there. It's amazing, absolutely amazing how much snow that's occurred with this. We just haven't had a storm like this in so long. It's unbelievable. It's fun. It's fun to watch from at home. Not fun if you have to drive out there, that's for sure. Let's see if I can't take a look at. Just wait for my computer to load up here. Maybe we can take a look at some road conditions. Oh, here's something new. Right screen. Hopefully y'all can see that. Interstate closed from the Canadian border down to Fargo. Did not see that until just now. US 52 closed. I-29 closed from Jamestown to Montana. Highway 20 closed. US 2 closed from Devil's Lake to Grand Forks. These candy canes where we're not playing with Candyland, but we're playing with roads here, we're closing them. We're starting to close them. Starting to close those roads across North Dakota. So, boy, and that's the. I guess I'm a little surprised it's all the way to Fargo in a way, just because they've actually been getting some rain, but bad conditions out there. This is that overpass just south of Buxton along I-29. Visibilities look okay, but the roads are deteriorating. Look a little wet. One car out there still. It's been, they've been getting a little more rain just south of Grand Forks. So again, maybe a little surprised they closed the road south of Grand Forks, but hey, whatever. Probably expecting some of that to freeze overnight. This is near Amaretto. That looks nasty out there near Amaretto, west of Grand Forks along Highway 2. If you have any questions out there, please go ahead and put them in the chat, and I should see them. Hopefully you don't hear my family out making noise out there. They're having a good old time. Let's see. This is Drayton Bridge. Ooh, boy, you can't see much of anything there, and that's pretty unusual. Wow, that's roads just looking horrible out there. This is closer to Devil's Lake, and notice a lot of drifting going across the road. Don't see much for drifts, surprisingly, but it definitely looks icy. Those roads definitely look icy. Doesn't look like something really I'd want to be traveling on. But the other thing to note is just when we take a look at this, the cameras just seem to do a better job seeing through this. Even when I take some videos, it's like, you know, you watch it and it's like, where's the snow? I can see the snow. Why can't the camera pick up the snow? But they just seem to cut through it a little bit better than our eyes do. So even just seeing some of this and how bad the visibility is there kind of tells me it's pretty nasty out there. This is near Devil's Lake again. Edinburgh, not looking quite as bad, but definitely a lot of blowing out there. Let's head down to 94. This is Sterling. Definitely some finger drifts across 94 by Sterling. And some pretty low visibilities there. Jamestown. Again, more blowing. Low visibilities. Valley City, I believe. Nope, this is Jamestown, sorry. Pretty low visibilities. The roads look pretty darn icy. Nobody out there, obviously, because the road is closed. This is near Hailstone, so kind of that Glen Olin area. Looks like a truck kind of parked off to the side there, saying, oh, can't go out there. We're closed. Sorry, folks. North Dakota's closed. The moose out front should have told you. Sorry, folks. And so, yeah, it's closer out to Dickinson. That looks bad out there. I mean, obviously didn't pick up as much snow, but enough to blow it around. And that's the other problem here. We'll flip over. Some of these winds actually have decreased out here in the west right now and have starting to move north, which is, I guess, is sort of what we expected once this rotates through and some of the heavier snows begin to decrease down in the southwest. We were kind of thinking that the heavier winds would sort of travel north with it, and that's basically what we're seeing right now. Grand Forks, we got, let's see, wind gusts of 34 knots, so that's close to 39, 40 miles per hour on a wind gust, 39 there in Cooperstown, so about 45 mile per hour wind gusts. So that is moving to the north. That area that we've seen was further down in the south and west has now moved to the north and east. So now, along with all this heavy snow, we're having to deal with the wind as well. And a lot of areas less than a quarter mile visibility and light snow, 45 mile per hour wind gusts. These right here, when I underline them, this is quarter mile visibility, 1 mile, quarter mile, an eighth of a mile. Really low, coming out in Grand Forks, quarter mile. Even though it says 0.3, it just this little system rounds it up, so that's why it says 0.3. But yeah, Grand Forks, eighth of a mile, and heavy snow, wind gusts to near 40 miles per hour. Pretty impressive. It's pretty nasty out there. Minnesota, we'll take a look at the Minnesota edge of it. Give me back to the radar for now. I'll kind of poke around on some of the cameras, so you don't have to see me fumbling through some of this stuff. Gets a little annoying. Again, if you have any videos or pictures, please, that'd be great to send them to me. In fact, I've got a couple that I can show. Let's see here. There we go. This was Ashley. This is from my sister down in Ashley, Lori. Thank you for sending me that. This was, but I'm trying to remember what time that got sent to me. That was later in the afternoon, but at this point, just wet. They got a little bit of snow in the morning, but then it kind of turned into a drizzly day the way it looked there. So at that point, they really didn't get much, but I'm thinking that's probably changed. So I don't have any updates from them at this point. This is from my brother in Bismarck, Robert, and you can kind of see some of the big snowflakes that are out there associated with that. So Bismarck obviously getting quite a bit of snow. And then a friend of ours out in Hazen, Nikki, you can see the snow. They didn't, none of these areas had snow before today. And now this is all covered. So they're looking at plenty of snow. Looks like they got plenty in Hazen as well. Some pretty big flakes showing up in there, and look like some pretty good road tracks out there. So thanks, Nikki, for sending that as well. And if you have anything else that you have for us, go ahead and shoot that to us. Let's check back in with our little storm down by Sioux Falls. Kind of falling apart a little bit. So thankfully, looked like some of that outflow that was pushing out there that had the possibility of some rotation. Maybe not quite as much, I guess, possibly in through here at this point. I really got to get a different color. That color is annoying. Let's pick a different color. Let's get more of a, I don't know about that one. How about yellow? I don't know. That's here. I'll zoom in a little bit. Maybe a little bit of rotation out there, just west of Sioux Falls. But it's pretty broad at this point. It doesn't really look like much at this point, and it hasn't really formed anything now since it did a while back when we had a confirmed tornado. So that's good, and it also appears as though it might be sort of losing a little bit of its intensity at this point. Yeah, there's not much out there for hail or nothing. So it looks like this is probably on the decrease. So it looks like just a lot of rain involved with this at this point. Maybe some smaller sized hail. So we'll see if they get rid of this, but at this point. But it looks like it's on the downward trend for now. Probably just some areas that are just below severe limits up and down I-29 here from Sioux Falls up through Brookings and near Clear Lake. So, it's going to be some blinding rains, that's for sure. It might not be severe, but it's going to be hard to see. So if you're traveling through here, if you're heading down to Sioux Falls, I know my wife's got somebody heading down that way. If you got anybody heading there, you're going to be running into some pretty good rains. As we head further to the north and east of Sioux Falls, as we get closer to the Balaton, Garvin area, Amoret, and we've got over 2 inches possible in hail. So this is a big one here. Severe thunderstorm. Let's move this down. In effect until 8 p.m. for Lyon County in Minnesota, southwestern Minnesota, located near Balaton at 7:32, or 11 miles south of Marshall, moving to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. So these things are moving. Not only is there some pretty good wind gusts wind gusts and hail associated with this, but they are moving quickly to the northeast. So 60 mile per hour wind gusts, golf ball size hail associated with this storm system. Let's see if we can't get this thing going in motion here. Yeah, boy, that is moving quickly to the northeast. So those of you in Amoret, Milroy, Vesta, that's going to be coming up on you fast. They're going to have to really move this severe thunderstorm warning quickly. I'm going to pull something up on this other computer. I got all sorts of things going on. I got another computer over here. And just because I'm talking about South Dakota at this point, or if I'm back up talking about North Dakota or parts of northern Minnesota or wherever, doesn't mean I'm not going to come back to it. So just hang in there. I'm trying to bounce around between all the important places that we need to talk about. right, we'll see what this comes up with. So Dudley, you're going to be in the path of this within 14 minutes. Milroy, closer to 18 minutes. Not a whole lot of population out there associated, somewhere in that 300 range, 200 to 300 people with this particular storm system. But there could be some considerable hail in there. At least there looked like there was a few minutes ago. Probably decreased some, so we're looking probably closer to an inch right now, maybe an inch and a quarter. And it looks like the best part of it moved out of the warning area. Now there's the new update. There's the next little thunderstorm warning. So severe thunderstorm warning for Redwood County, southwestern Yellow Medicine County in west central Minnesota until 8:30 p.m. 60 mile per hour wind gusts, quarter size hail associated with that. So, yep, plenty of severe storms out there. A lot of hail being associated with these storms. Let's quickly flip over to the Minneapolis radar. Some of these storms kind of starting to approach those of you down in Minneapolis. A lot of people being affected. Come on, radar. Again, if anybody's got any questions, any kind of comments, I know right now I'm talking about southern Minnesota, so if you don't live down there, go ahead and ask me a question if you're living in those areas that have the snow. We'll get back to that in a little bit, but we're just going to talk about some of the severe weather that's out there. Excuse me, Gibbon, Winthrop. Right now, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. This very well looks like that's going to be updated. It's kind of heading in that direction. So Gaylord, New Auburn, Green Isle, Glencoe. Let's see here. Starting. It's getting close for those of you down in the southwestern parts of the suburbs of Minneapolis. So if you got any family down there, just note, just kind of give them a heads up that we've got some pretty good storms heading their way. Mostly it's 60 mile per hour winds and some golf ball size hail associated with this. This particular storm system is valid. Let's see here, 60 mile per hour wind gust, quarter size hail, moving to the north at 45 miles per hour. We'll be near Gibbon was around Gibbon already. Other locations in the path include Winthrop. So that's basically moving through Winthrop right now. Also, if you're listening and you please go ahead and share. Make sure other people know about this little YouTube channel here. This is the live portion of Region Weather Live. A lot of times I just kind of check in and do some stuff where it's I do a recording, which I'm going to have to break off and do here in a little bit. But this one looks like it's just kind of going to be skirting the western parts of the cities. Plenty of rain coming in, though. That's for sure. Some of the stronger stuff looks like it's lagging a little bit further south. You know, some of this might go severe near St. Peter. But right now it looks like Mankato, good thunder. You're probably under some pretty good, some hail and stronger winds right now. But for those of you in the cities, we'll see if the shields are up. We always joke about the Twin Cities shield. So we'll see if the heat shield is up for these storms. Looks like it's not going to start off severe, though. It might be. I mean, it looks like the strongest portion of it is actually on the back side of this, is on the south side of this line that's moving through. So you might start off with some heavier rains and such, but you know, it could be for some of you that you won't get into the heavy stuff until later on the back end of this storm, just because that's where a little more of the potency is you got a little more juice on the back end of it, and that's really where it's drawing its energy from. So Some of you in the cities off, as this system shoots off to the northeast, might start off with some rain, some heavy rain, some pretty good thunder, but the severe stuff might not come until later. And coming back here through Sioux Falls, they did get rid of that severe thunderstorm warning. So here's your main line right now. I think some of this this area probably is going to decrease as well as it heads to the northeast eventually. Once it gets into that Hutchinson area, I think this line here is pretty much going to be the dominant one as it moves to the east and north throughout the evening hours. So we'll have to continue to watch that as we go into the nighttime hours. It looks like most of that's just going to be a wind and hail event. Thankfully, it looks like for now, for those of you down in northern parts of Iowa, there's some areas in trouble there. There's a confirmed tornado. This particular warning, we're just going to take a quick look, just because I want to, just because I'm curious about it. Confirmed tornado located 10 miles south of Britt or 13 miles southwest of Garner, moving east at 55 miles per hour. So this tornado, confirmed tornado, is moving quickly, 55 miles per hour. Weather spotters confirmed a tornado with golf ball size hail associated with it. So I don't know if anybody's got anybody that lives in northern parts of Iowa, but they are under the gun right now. Near Kanawha, Clemmy, Garner, and points heading towards Mason City. I think that's a pretty good sized city if I recall right. So Minneapolis, here it comes. Here comes the rain. Here comes some of the storms. You're looking at inch and a half of hail in some areas, approaching Faribault, inch hail near Mankato, Gaylord, around an inch as well. And those areas are moving to the northeast, so watch out for those of you in the Twin Cities area. Within the next hour, we're looking like we're going to be seeing some severe thunderstorms roll through there. So let's jump back up to the north. I hear my bell dinging over here. 8 inches in Belfield in Stark County. Hazen, heavy snow, 9 inches in Hazen. Southwest of New England in Slope County, 9 inches there. Washburn in McLean County, these are all in North Dakota, 10 inches of snow. Grassy Butte in McKenzie, 7 inches of snow. Thief River Falls, 7 inches. So good amount of snow out there being reported, coming in. A lot of reports starting to come in here. And here's where some of our heaviest precipitation is occurring right now, just north of Hillsboro, in through Crookston, up near Warren. So we're looking like some moderate to possibly heavy snow that time. Here's those snow reports: 6 inches. I think that was a 10-inch one. Thief River Falls, 7. So a lot of heavy snow out there. I think I'm going to be on here for about another 12 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up at 8. Probably take a little break and then give a weather forecast, get one of those done and out and published. Oh, come on. This is Thief River Falls. US 59. Pretty darn snow covered. Not good. I'm guessing those cars are moving pretty slow. Yeah, boy, Iowa's getting nailed. Iowa is getting lit up in northern parts of Iowa. Oh, there's this one. Let's pull you back to this. Thankfully, my computer's been keeping up, so that's good. I've been too laggy once I finally figured out to not have a bunch of billion things loaded up. Unfortunately, that means I got to take things a little bit slower, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Again, feel free to ask any questions. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Go ahead and share this channel. Tweet this channel. Whatever you got to do, help me out. Because I'm just trying to give you guys information that hopefully is going to help you throughout the night and just sort of plan tomorrow. I know there's areas, I think Minot, I believe, was told that canceled school through tomorrow, and they were going to kind of look at Thursday or debate about Thursday yet. I think Grand Forks schools have canceled for Wednesday, from what I've heard. So if anybody else has got any other information out there as far as cancellations go, it'd be kind of neat to hear. Here's a good video. Hopefully, come on. I'm trying to pull up their National Weather Service in Bismarck had a really nice video on Twitter. I'm trying to get it loaded here. But a lot of times when I run this program that I have, which takes up a lot of computer space, a lot of control, then doesn't like to work with a lot of other stuff. Right, there it is. This is Bismarck. This is the National Weather Service out by the airport. Looks like this is the radar. You can barely see it. I'd be curious who took this video. I got a pretty good friend that works out in there, so that looks nasty. That looks nasty. Good job, Bismarck. Good job. Well, it looks like we lost a little bit of connection there. Sorry. Yeah, some pretty good drifts out there. Gets a little sticky as to. This is let's see here. Carl Jones, Grand Forks. It was gross out there. It got nasty. The roads turned to just garbage quickly. So thanks. This is Carl Jones. He goes out and takes some pretty good pictures. So boy, go ahead and give him some love out there. We'll retweet him and onto my Twitter page there. See if we got any other fun photos. This is a good one by Carl Jones. Not that one. What happened? Not that one. What makes you think I wanted to see that one? Oh. Just very laggy with this computer. All right, we got a few more minutes, and I think we're going to wrap some stuff up in through here. And get to the forecast and get a forecast out here. Something's cranking away. Here's the other Carl Jones one I wanted to show. If it ever pops up. There we go. Pretty nice pictures there around Grand Forks-ish. Some deer. So thanks again, Carl Jones, weather WX_Jones provided those pictures. So pretty cool out there. Some neat pictures. Let's see what this one is. It's Twin Cities. Looks like our school is running a little late. No, Jen. Not like the 97 blizzard, I don't think. We don't have the winds that we had for that blizzard. That blizzard we had 70 to 75 mile per hour winds and some freezing rain. Yeah, the snowfall in some spots are going to be like that. But you're not going to see the power lines down and all that stuff that was associated with that 97 blizzard. The winds will be strong, which actually that's a good point. We can take a look at the expected wind gusts. But they're just not on the level of 97. Like I said, that 97 storm, that was crazy. It was 12 hours of 60 to 75 mile per hour wind gusts. It was in power outages for days. And nope, you're not going to be eating peanut butter on end. But this is impressive. I mean, we do get Colorado storms. It's been a while, but we get them. This might be more along the lines of some of the storms we had before that big April blizzard of 97, because we did have some pretty good storms. So it's probably more in line with that. But this model still it really wants to increase the winds around Devil's Lake tonight. 50, 55 mile per hour wind gust possible before it shoots it to the north. So this model's really hanging on to that scenario. So I guess for those of you in Devil's Lake overnight or the early part of the night, hang on, because whatever kind of snow's out there, if this does ramp up like that, it's going to blow around. It's really going to blow around if it gets to be that much. I mean, we definitely have some 45 mile per hour wind gusts currently. Sorry, I'm just taking a look at the current odds here. Then this is early Wednesday morning around 8, 9 a.m. And then there's the center of the low that cuts through the central parts and eastern parts of North Dakota and as well as northern parts of Minnesota. And then as we get through the day, the winds start to increase across the west on Wednesday. And those winds begin to push east throughout the nighttime hours Wednesday night and into the very early parts of Thursday morning. And then much of South Dakota, southern parts of Minnesota have in the red. So we're looking at 35 to 45 mile per hour winds, mostly in that 35 to maybe 43 range, we'll call it. And then once we get into Thursday evening, those winds kind of start to decrease some, and then more so overnight Thursday night. And then into Friday, we still have a little bit of breeziness left as we have some 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts, maybe some 30, possibly 35 in northwestern parts of Minnesota late in the day on Friday. And then they finally begin to dissipate Friday night. So not the real strong winds. I mean, it's gusts of 40, maybe 45, with this exception of a 50 mile per hour wind gust apparently in Devil's Lake early tonight. But otherwise, no, we're not seeing the very strong winds like we did for that blizzard in '97. Go ahead and take one last look here shortly down in Minneapolis, and then we will call it a live stream. Unless anybody's got any questions out there. So this is kind of a first for me. This is one of my first little live streams I've done. Bit of a learning curve here associated with it, but it was fun. I like doing this. This is interesting. Hopefully this channel can grow. Hopefully more people begin to watch. Hopefully more people can share it. Hopefully this gets more people to subscribe. So those of you in Faribault right now, 60 mile per hour wind gusts and 1 inch hail associated with this. Moving to the northeast at about, looks like 60 miles per hour. Areas in the path are Kenyon, Nursted, Denison, Cannon Falls, Meesville, Ellsworth, and Spring Valley. You can see those up here in the upper right-hand corner. For this one, just south of St. Peter, moving to the northeast as well at about 60 miles per hour. We got 60 mile per hour wind gusts, 1.5 inch hail. Skyline, Eagle Lake, Mankato. Actually, it was just right through Mankato already. Madison Lake, Montgomery, and Lonsdale. And we've got this one out here on the western west of the cities, 60 miles per hour and 1.5 inch hail. Cokato, Howard Lake, Waverly, Maple Lake, Buffalo, Monticello, Big Lake, Becker, and Lake Fremont in the path of this particular storm. My girls are being quite noisy down there. I'm not really sure what's going on with this radar. Looks awfully funky. This looks awfully funky. See what happens when I switch radars. Either that's just being really pokey. That's an interesting view. I'm not real sure what's going on with this radar. Looks very washed out. I'm just curious if we switch radars as to what happens. So it looks like those of you in the Minneapolis area, the southern suburbs, these rain showers, these storms are moving into your area right now. Oh, I don't know. Dumb. I know what I did wrong. But now my computer has got to catch up. So, Lakeville, Apple Valley, Farmington, Jordan, New Prague. Storm's starting to roll in through there now for our friends down in the southern suburbs of Minneapolis. Kenyon, this storm moving off to the northeast, 60 mile per hour in an inch. Hail, Goodhue in the path. Red Wing in the path of this storm right now. The only other one is this one down near Mankato. And this other radar system here is really taking its time here. I really want to show you this, but it's not letting me. Holy buckets. There we go. Whew, that took way too long. But anyway, Faribault, Kenyon, Zumbrota. These storms moving off to the northeast. So Red Wing, Hastings. You're in the path. Lakeville, New Prague. Looks like you're kind of under the gun right now. Nothing severe at this point. But these storms are moving to the northeast. Mankato, man, you're, 2 inches possible. Looks like you had a report of 3/4 inch just on the southern end of Mankato. So you're just getting out of it now. I'd be curious what Mankato got. But Madison Lake, heading towards Kilkenny, Le Center. These areas moving quickly to the northeast, about 50 to 60 miles per hour. And now just heading into the cities. We'll see if the shields are up. For some of those areas in the Twin Cities. It does kind of look like the severe stuff is going around them right now. This stuff in Faribault's probably going to slide on across the south. And then this area down here is quite a ways off yet. So it might slip across the southern part of the state. We'll see if any of these other storms can quickly increase as it moves through or not. Then you also have this area out by Redwood Falls. Good old Redwood Falls. Nice area out there. I was out there last year about this time for volleyball. But it looks like some pretty good hail rolling through there as well as this area moves to the northeast. Nice little storm there that's not really giving up. As well as Hutchinson, Glencoe and Hutchinson. This area really doesn't seem to be decreasing a whole lot as this moves north, maybe a little bit. Some decrease in there, I guess. But I would say right now the Twin Cities, for the most part, looks like they're just going to get some heavy rain. Maybe some areas in the far south and far western parts of the suburbs might see some heavier stuff. Probably the southern end, a little bit better chance than anybody else. But otherwise, it looks like most of that heavier stuff's going to stay south along Faribault, along the I-35 corridor south of Minneapolis, and then down to Albert Lee. So areas in Austin and Rochester, eventually these storms are going to be heading towards you. I'd expect the very real possibility, you'll be seeing some severe storms in the form of hail and some strong winds down in southeastern parts of Minnesota as we go into the nighttime hours here. I don't really see anything that's really going to have these storms really rapidly decrease until they move more northward. But the southern end, as it moves east, shouldn't lose much of its intensity. We do have these bigger storms further south that may rob some of the some of the moisture anyway, but the line itself really should stay intact as it heads east. These northern areas are going to be running into some cooler air, so I think that's going to kind of wind down here as we go along. That Hutchinson one, though, does look interesting. But so, yeah, I think these areas down in the southeast is where most of the storms are going to be through the nighttime hours. So I think that's all I've got for you. I think that's all I'm going to do for you. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. We'll get an update later on tonight. This is meteorologist Brad Warner, signing off.